Q2 flooding frustrations.
All of it is wasted, so because it was exposed.
A Billings antique store loses valuable and vintage items after a sewage backup destroys part of the building. Plus, on the campaign trail,
I want to give back to the city that helped me achieve the dreams that I've had.
a man who brought a historic Billings hotel back to life, now in the running for mayor. I'll introduce you to Mike Nelson. And peace and war.
And the one that I thought would be maybe the quickest of all would be Russia-Ukraine, and I think that's going to happen too.
With a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, is a deal between Russia and Ukraine next? The MTN 430 News starts right now. Well, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Russ Riesinger. A Billings antique mall is temporarily closed after sewage backup flooded the building with wastewater. It's a situation that has left yesteryears frustrated and the city investigating. Some vendors at the business lost a wide range of collectibles, many of them vintage items that are impossible to replace. Our Matt Carmack has more on the situation as they remain dedicated to giving residents a walk down memory lane.
A downtown Billings business temporarily closed. And it's not by choice.
It's just so much. We have lots of cleaning to do, and yeah.
Owners Lucy and Danny Kramer working alongside volunteers to clean up the mess. A mess created by these drains.
Overnight, the sewer line that was connected to 3rd Avenue backed up, and with all the rainfall that had come, the wastewater came back, flushed back into our building.
Joining Tuesday's cleanup included vendor McKay Hull, an antique furniture collector and former surgeon.
I've been here about an hour and a half just going over some furniture that had water on like the legs, wiping them down with Clorox.
McKay has been collecting antiques for the past 50 years. Fortunately, most of his collection was safe, with only a few casualties.
Yes, I have a big cardboard tobacco sign that's about a $380 piece, and it's damaged beyond selling it. And most of my furniture was out of the water, up on blocks right away.
He shares the same feelings as the owners about the situation.
It's depressing, and some dealers have it a lot worse than I do.
Lucy also worries for vendors like McKay, who can lose revenue each day that the store is closed.
Every business in here is losing the potential for their sales, which also means that how do we pay our wages, because that's how our employees get paid.
Lucy tells me that one of the most devastating and frustrating losses is the candy corner in Cuppy's Cafe, because everything is food and needs to be thrown away, costing upwards of $50,000 in merchandise alone.
All of it is wasted, so because it was exposed.
Lucy hopes to reopen yesteryears within the next week, of course with the exception of the food area. Until then, it's going to be a busy next few days.
To lose things that you work so hard for, to know that you might not be compensated for anything, to know that, to no fault of our own, something has happened. We really would appreciate the community support when we reopen and know that we're doing everything we can.
In Billings, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
As clouds continue to keep Billings quite cool today, snow is impacting western Montana. Take a look at this as nearly 2 feet of snow fell in Rimini Gulch in Lewis and Clark County over the last few days. Today, a heavier band of snow continues to affect areas just west of Helena, causing slick roads and limited visibility. And here a little bit different story with more on that. Here's meteorologist Jason Stiff.
Yeah, certainly more active weather for parts of northwestern and north central Montana, with areas of rain and snow mixes continuing to fall, but that will start to quiet down a little bit. We haven't had a lot of active weather in our part of the world, a lot of clouds, but not much to show for it. It just has not been a very warm day, but we'll have more chances for additional rain as early as late this evening. This goes away all the way through midnight tonight. A decent chance for some rain and thunderstorms pushing northward from northern Wyoming into southern Montana. So keep that in mind. Might hear some raindrops on your window panes overnight. So a chance for some overnight rain, drier in the morning with more evening rain showers. Our 7-day forecast coming up.
Billings voters will elect a new mayor next month to replace Bill Cole, who is wrapping up his second and final term. There are 4 choices in the nonpartisan race, and we're giving you a chance to get to know each of them a little better this week. Tonight, I catch up with Mike Nelson.
I want to give back to the city that helped me achieve the dreams that I've had.
Those dreams for Mike Nelson included bringing the historic Northern Hotel back to life.
The Northern was just rated in the top 1% of all hotels in America. We bought it on the steps of the county courthouse. There was an auction. We were the only bid.
Before returning to his hometown of Billings, Nelson spent 3 decades in the hospitality business in Las Vegas. He says the hotel and casino he managed there had more employees than the entire city of Billings.
A hotel in Las Vegas is kind of like a small city, right? We had a fire department, we had a security department with arrested powers. We had 110 security officers for the casino, which was more than Billings had police at the time. And our annual budget was about the same as the city. And I got to be involved over the 10 years I was there in all the departments.
Nelson says he's made it a mission to make Billings a better and safer place. He's been involved with Big Sky Economic Development, helping recruit new businesses, also with the Billings Chamber, and played a big part for Citizens for a Safer Billings getting the 2021 Public Safety Levy passed.
So top 3 priorities for the community, in my opinion, are safety, economic vibrancy, and then quality of life. You know, you can't do one without the other. We need a workforce for the more jobs that we need. We need more housing to house the new workers and things like that, and it needs to be affordable. So if we can tackle all 3 at once, those problems in a long-term solution will be solved.
Nelson sees the mayor's main role as developer and chief and believes his business experience sets him apart.
And if the mayor has a good vision for the future of Billings and can communicate that to the people that he works with and to the folks in the city of Billings, it's only natural then that we could, in a respectful and kind manner, walk toward that goal together. So that's how I've tried to run the Northern Hotel, and that's what I would do with the city.
In Billings, Russ Riesinger, MTN News.
And we'll continue our candidate profiles tomorrow, hearing from lifelong Billings resident and current councilman Mike Boyette. Ballots for the November 4th election go out tomorrow. And today marks 2 full weeks since the shutdown of the federal government began. This evening, the Senate is expected to vote for an 8th time on a House-passed measure to fund the government, but the 2 parties remain divided over health care. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
I'm an air traffic controller here. Do you want to help aviation safety by ending the shutdown?
This member of the Air Traffic Controllers Union handed leaflets to travelers outside Reagan National Airport in Arlington, Virginia, Tuesday to highlight the impact of the ongoing government shutdown.
The American worker that lives paycheck to paycheck, which is almost every air traffic controller, cannot last without pay.
In a social media post, the White House Office of Management and Budget said Tuesday that it is preparing to, quote, ride out the Democrats by continuing to pay troops and law enforcement and more reduction in force notices.
We are closing up Democrat programs that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.
At a news conference, Democrats called the Trump administration's layoffs illegal.
Firing and threatening to fire federal employees is part of the Trump administration's campaign to inflict trauma on our federal workforce.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has warned this shutdown could be the longest in history as lawmakers remain deadlocked. But President Trump says his administration has identified funds to at least pay the military, a move some Democrats say is likely illegal.
My understanding of this is they have every right to move the funds around. If the Democrats want to go to court and challenge troops being paid, bring it.
The Senate is planning another vote Tuesday evening on funding the government, but there are no signs of any progress to end the stalemate. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
President Trump is outlining his vision of immediate next steps for peace after Israeli hostages were freed from Hamas captivity yesterday and Palestinian prisoners were released from Israeli jails. The president now says the next phase will focus on rebuilding Gaza, with the World Bank and others estimating the price tag could exceed $50 billion. The plan also calls for a demilitarized Gaza with regional and international partners helping develop a security force to protect civilians. The president is back at the White House today after a whirlwind afternoon in the Middle East yesterday. With peace existing and holding there for now, is the president setting his sights on Ukraine? Joe St. George explains what Trump is threatening to arm Ukraine with and why that could change the war.
President Donald Trump has declared peace in the Middle East. He cannot say the same, though, about Eastern Europe as the conflict between Russia and Ukraine rages on. However, is the president setting his sights on that conflict next? The president is back in Washington after a whirlwind of a Monday in the Middle East. This coming Friday, the president is expected to meet with President Zelensky of Ukraine. The timing noteworthy, coming just days after the president said this.
And the one that I thought would be maybe the quickest of all would be Russia-Ukraine, and I think that's going to happen too. But in the meantime, they're losing about 7,000 people a week, and that seems pretty bad.
During his Middle East travels, the president indicated that a deal to potentially supply Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles may be discussed.
They'd like to have Tomahawks. We talked about that, and so we'll see. Well, I don't know. I might have to speak to Russia, to be honest with you, about Tomahawks. Do they want to have Tomahawks going in their direction? I don't think so. I think I might speak to Russia about that.
Military experts say Tomahawks would allow Ukraine the ability to strike deeper within Russia, potentially striking Moscow. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev said on Monday that supplying Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine could end badly for everyone, especially President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump had high hopes for peace between Russia and Ukraine following his summit with President Putin in Alaska earlier this year. But that failed to materialize a formal meeting between Zelensky and Putin, at least not yet. Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Tossing out lithium batteries can be a real fire hazard, especially when they're hidden inside old gadgets like toys or laptops. But now a recycling plant in England is using artificial intelligence to stop the danger before it starts. AI-powered cameras scan electronic waste on conveyor belts, and when they spot a battery, a quick blast of air knocks it out of the pile. Engineers say the smart system can detect all kinds of batteries and even help recover valuable metals before they're lost to the landfill.
At the moment, we're throwing too many of them away, which is crazy. Why this new sort of technology and innovation to recover more materials is just simply common sense. It'll drive the economy and it'll protect the environment.
Here in the U.S., AI is increasingly being used in recycling, though the focus so far has been more on sorting plastics and metals.